Hello and welcome to another episode of the ADA podcast. I'm your host Briggs, and like always, welcome to All Day Anime. I just forgot the number of the podcast we were on, so I said another instead.
5.
I was gonna
5?
say, I think it's 5.
Yeah, you guys are probably right. I trust you guys now. Oh man. But anyway, last week we were talking about villains, and we got pretty heated when we talked about Sasuke. So I was thinking, let's talk about some of our Sasuke. Let's talk about some of our favorite characters in Dragon Ball this time, and also least favorite characters.
I was gonna say you can't talk about Sasuke and then mention the word favorite. It just doesn't work.
Yeah,
Sasuke will always be my favorite. Don't worry.
Oh,
I may have to kick you from the call, even though you're the one who started the call. Oh man, I don't know who wants to start off here. Dragon Ball.
All right. Oh, I don't know if I want to be the one here. Let me ask the question: who's your favorite Dragon Ball villain? Let's start there.
Are we going villain? Like, can I say Vegeta? I don't know. Like, he's kind of in between.
I mean, if you want to classify him as a villain, like when he was a villain, like go for it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we could bring the conversation into a direction of just like favorite characters, whether they're villains or not. For example, my two favorite characters in Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball are Gohan and Vegeta. Now, like at certain points in the timeline, Gohan turns into a pussy, so I start to hate him. But Teen Gohan, unreal.
Are we including Dragon Ball Super in this discussion?
I think it's all fair game except for GT. Fuck GT.
Okay. Because I feel like Gohan wasn't really that much of a pussy, like in Dragon Ball Z. Like maybe during the Buu saga a little bit because he didn't do a whole lot. But
I think he was fine in the Buu saga.
I feel like Super's definitely where Gohan was not really Gohan anymore.
See, the art style didn't help them out because they made everyone look like thinner and less jacked. Like in Dragon Ball Z, everyone looks buff. So even if like Gohan was being a little bit lame, he still like kind of looked cool. Now he was acting lame and looked lame and couldn't do anything. So just like, I want to love you, but I can't.
Yeah, it still really grinds my gears seeing how they did Gohan dirty and Super.
They nerfed him.
Just like you, he was one of my faves, and then they did him so dirty.
Nerfed him.
I even liked him as like Great Saiyan Man.
I did too. I know a lot of people didn't.
Like not as much, but I was still like he could still do things, you know?
Yeah, I appreciated what he was trying to do. He was trying to be like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but friendly neighborhood Saiyan Man. He was just helping people out. He didn't want people to see his nice golden locks. I understand.
Yeah, he kind of had his family in mind at that time. He didn't really want to make them a big public thing. He wanted to go about his own business and go to school, live life.
Well, I think Chi-Chi wanted that more than he did. Let's be real.
True.
There's a top 10 anime villain right there, Chi-Chi.
But anyway,
his plans.
I think we all really like Gohan, but I love Vegeta. He's tied, if not my favorite character in the series. And I know Spooky has some feelings about him.
I did not like Vegeta a little bit until Super. That's how long it took me to like Vegeta.
Really?
Yep. Despised him the whole time.
That's crazy.
He's
always been one of my top 3. Like,
I know, like one of the things you said, Briggs, is definitely his one-liners. But I think part of the problem is I read the manga, so like a lot of them weren't there.
And his voice actor was fantastic. I think it was Sabat.
Christopher Sabat.
Christopher Sabat. Yeah, there we go. Had a little bit of a blank there, but his voice actor was amazing. His one-liners, I found them hilarious. Like, they added some comedy to the series. What is this, a Super Saiyan bargain sale?
Well, not just his one-liners, like that added a lot to his character. I just love his arrogant attitude, the character consistency. Like he embodied what a Saiyan should be.
Yeah, like
Goku's weak. He's too nice, too much of a nice guy. I don't know. I like seeing the pride and arrogance take over.
I feel like
he knows it.
There's a line between arrogance and being an asshole, though, and I feel like Vegeta was a lot of times being an asshole.
Nah, he straddled that line perfectly.
Okay.
He really is. You either love him or you hate him.
Well, he's a lovable asshole.
He's one of the last Saiyans that exist, right? And he's a very prideful about his race. Like he holds them at a very high standard. yet there's like very few of them left. Like when he's introduced, the only ones that are around are Goku, Raditz, and Nappa. So you think he'd want to like keep his fellow Saiyans around, especially if he considers himself stronger than them, so he can basically rule whoever's left. But no, fucking Raditz dies, and he's like, whatever. What a weakling. Sucks eggs. Who needs him?
Oh, he was.
And then
did Nappa dirty.
yeah, and then Raditz is dead. So there's only 3 of them left. I mean, I'm not gonna count Gohan because like he's a human Saiyan. Like nah, I'm talking purebred Saiyans here. You
Exactly,
think
and there were
Vegeta-
no female Saiyans left.
Well, they
So
don't.
there was no
maybe
hope for
there
that
is,
race aside
but
from
maybe
him.
there is.
And
Maybe.
Nappa just annoyed the heck out of him. Let's be honest.
But maybe there was somewhere. I mean, they could have been like, well, you know, we need to repopulate the Saiyan race here, or we just need to show everyone what Saiyans we're capable of. And I don't think Vegeta can really do that by
I
himself.
think Vegeta can do that by himself. He is as good as it gets.
Okay, but you have to remember that at this point in the series that I'm talking about, like Super Saiyan wasn't even, it was a legend. That's all it was. Like
And
nobody had ever
He was
seen
going
one.
to achieve it. You knew he would.
I believe you, but Raditz is dead. Didn't even give a shit. And then he goes down there to Earth with Nappa for the Dragon Balls, and to wreck everybody. And you know, Nappa loses to Goku, and Vegeta's like, you know what? Who needs you? Even though Goku is just like, yeah, you put up a good fight. You can sit on the ground there, Nappa. Who needs you? But no, Vegeta throws him up in the air and fucking kills him. There goes the last Saiyan aside from him and Goku. Like, what are you doing, Vegeta?
I will agree that was probably my least favorite moment of all of Vegeta's moments.
Like,
Dude, I was laughing when he killed them. I don't know,
I was mad.
We'll never get to see a bald Super Saiyan now. Like, do you understand what Vegeta did here? He just ruined something that could have been amazing.
would they grow hair, or would it just like would it be underwhelming?
Super Saiyan mustache.
Ooh. Imagine a Super Saiyan beard. That'd be pretty cool.
I just don't understand why Vegeta would do that unless he's literally just an asshole villain. Like, I get obviously he develops more over time, but
at that time, like Nappa just lost to a low-class Saiyan.
But how can I like
no
him?
repopulating that race.
How can, at this point in the story, how is he a likable character? He's just like, hey, I'm gonna come in here, fuck everybody up. See, oh yeah, my partner, yeah, fuck him. Who needs him? Who needs him?
I will give you that Vegeta's an asshole, like 100%. The only thing is, like, kind of like Jordan said, he's a lovable asshole. He's like, he doesn't. I don't know how to explain this. Like, obviously, he's just kind of like a prideful, badass asshole, but like he kind of sticks with like what he believes in, and
he's very consistent.
Okay, I think I'm unbiased. I find him funny, so I want to like him, and also like he acts as a good contrast to Goku. And I kind of dislike Goku in certain ways. Like, there's certain things about Goku that piss me off. So seeing like Vegeta just be like a prideful, ruthless Saiyan is refreshing in a sense.
I get that, but it's one thing to be prideful, and it's another thing to kill your own kind just because they lost a battle.
You got to realize though that the Saiyans aren't like humans. They're the type of race that literally went around conquering planets and then selling them.
I know, but
all the people on the planets without even caring. Like, he's one cold-hearted dude.
If there was a hefty supply of Saiyans just hanging around on a planet somewhere, I would completely understand. I'd be like, oh, he can just get himself another Nappa. Like, who needs this one? But no, like, that's all there is. You'd think he'd have more consideration for his own race.
That's the thing. That's all there is left. And Nappa was annoying as heck in Vegeta's mind. Like, not only that, he just lost to a low-class warrior. What? In his mind,
he lost to
that
Goku.
Actually makes sense when you look at it.
His power level was over 9,000, Jordan. You call that low class? I mean, maybe at now Vegeta, standards, when everyone flicks their fingers and the planet's gone.
Compared to Vegeta, yeah.
Oh, by the way, when you guys were talking about like breeding and like there being no Saiyans left, the first thing that popped into my mind now is like with all the different universes, there are female Saiyans.
Yeah, that's what I was. I thought about that, but I'm trying to think like at the time, you know, there's probably a female Saiyan out there somewhere, and sure enough. Universe whatever, we got a couple hanging around.
Oh, I just watched the special like yesterday. It was awesome.
No spoils, please.
No, I won't.
Say I'm not caught up on Super, but as I was saying, man, Vegeta was so much stronger than Goku whenever he was first introduced. Like, Goku got his butt handed to him.
Well, they
Really,
both got
Gohan helped
wrecked.
out. They got their butts handed to them. Everybody got wrecked besides. No, pretty much everybody got wrecked by Vegeta. They got lucky because they all ganged up on him.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like Yajirobe helped out, otherwise they all would have been dead.
But like, why would Vegeta want to be the only Saiyan? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Because he is the pinnacle of his race. There isn't getting any better.
Okay, but if he's like an underling for Frieza, he's already a bitch to somebody.
He already said
Like,
he's gonna get immortality so he could beat Frieza.
I think that's a good segue into Frieza.
fuck Frieza for one. But
Okay,
Fuck.
last thing I want to say before we move on
go ahead. Go ahead.
is after the whole Frieza shenanigans, when everyone's hanging around on Earth and Goku's not around, like Vegeta just decides to, I'm gonna hang around, and like I get that he's so powerful and he wrecked everybody before, so like they're not gonna protest. But you think they'd have a little bit more of a problem with it, considering he literally killed all of them previously.
Like a lot of them did have a problem with it, but
Well, yeah, but they
like,
did.
he also helped him out a little bit on Namek. They had teamed up a little bit.
I don't know. Namek was back
Well-
and forth a million times.
Yeah. 1 second he's like, "No, you guys suck," and the next minute he's like, "Okay, we need to calm down. Frieza's coming. Like, shut up."
Let's say against the Ginyu Force and against Frieza, they kind of had to be on the same team a little bit. So
But-
there's that. But
To me, it just shows me that, like, okay, so Vegeta is the sole Saiyan, or at least that's what he low key wants to be, killing his own teammates over here. You'd think that like he'd have something to go for, but he's under somebody else, which is Frieza.
he doesn't
So-
want to be though. Like
Well, of course he doesn't want to be, but he
I
has
guess
to.
that's why he's there for the Dragon Balls in order
yeah,
to like
he's
gain
going against Frieza,
immortality,
trying
and
to
then
get to where he's stronger than him,
Mm,
immortal.
I
and he
guess-
has surpassed him now, I guess.
You say you want villains to have a goal. That was Vegeta's goal. He wanted to avenge his race.
By killing them.
This time he
Not
wasn't really
just-
clear.
not
He was
just-
just like, I want to be super strong. Like, I want to
Yeah,
be
he wants
immortal.
To be the best. That's his pride. That's just the pride of a
No,
Saiyan.
but I feel like he 100% wanted to kill Frieza at that time. We didn't know that yet, but the second we knew about Frieza, we knew he was trying to kill him.
Well, of
and,
course. I mean, he was afraid of him. Why wouldn't he
Yeah.
want to kill him?
Exactly, and he's not the type of person to work under someone. He was forced to, like, based off like the events that happened. And I also want to mention, like, you know how you were saying like he killed these people and then he stands like next to them and like trains near them without
Yeah.
them like people saying anything. I feel like that's hilarious, or like that's like it's like
It definitely
spit on their
is.
face. It's like I just killed you bastards, and now I'm gonna stay here because there's nothing you could do about it.
Exactly.
Fuck you guys.
I guess like the point I'm trying to make about the other thing though is like, so Vegeta, he could get killed by Frieza at the flick of Frieza's wrist, right? So why would he want to be the only Saiyan when Frieza could easily just wipe him off the map? Because then there's no Saiyans left. And like, what was
I mean,
his
there's not going
pride
to be
worth?
any Saiyans left eventually, anyways. Because, like I said, there's no way to repopulate. But
But yeah, but if Vegeta kept Nappa around, I mean, Raditz is a lost cause at this point. But if he kept Nappa around, they could have did something. Like they could have found some female Saiyan and whatever. You know,
Maybe
had
the
a
they
thought
field
really
day.
process
really
is,
wanna-
you can't
hold on.
beat Goku. Your offspring are irrelevant.
hold on. Yeah, let's say, do you really want a bunch of little Nappa Juniors running around if you're Vegeta? Nah. Like Nappa.
I think he would just be happy if they were Saiyans. I don't think he would really care if they were their little
Nappa had an
Nappas.
IQ of like 12, so
Yeah, but I mean,
Vegeta had trouble dealing with that every day since he was a kid.
I just feel like he's an asshole for disregarding his whole race like that. I mean,
he-
if he wants
here's-
revenge because Frieza killed them all, you'd think that he would at least keep the remaining ones close to him and just like demiddle them all the time
Well,
instead
here's
of
another
murder
thing
'em.
about Vegeta that I kind of want to address. Like, can we all accept that he was able to put his pride aside whenever he thought he was going to die? And he like literally begged Goku with tears in his eyes, like, hey, now it's up to you. Avenge our race, beat Frieza. Like,
I think that's probably maybe the only time I didn't like him.
It's so unfair
Okay.
for him to ask that of Goku, though, after he came down to his planet and tried to murder him
oh, it's
and
not fair.
everyone he knows and
But, like,
killed
that-
Nappa.
That showed he was willing to do whatever it took to try to accomplish that goal. And
Yeah,
once he wasn't able to anymore, he was willing to pass the torch.
I just think I'm salty that Nappa's dead. I think I'm just going to throw that out there. I think that's all this is about.
I can
Yeah.
understand that. I actually
So
like
if your point is that Vegeta's an asshole, I think we both 100% agree. I just
Oh,
think
yeah,
that
he is.
we like him, not even like not including that or not like overlooking that, but because of that. Like his asshole qualities are kind of what we like about him, or at least for me. Like I want to spoil something like a little bit small about the special, if you guys don't mind, just a funny scene, or should I just not mention it?
Go ahead.
Okay,
Spoiler
so
alert.
Goku's trying to do a spirit bomb. Everyone's like, "Yeah, I'm giving you my power." Like everyone puts their hands up. Like even Frieza put his hands up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vegeta like turns his back and walks away. I was laughing so hard. Like everyone, I'm like even like the beerists, like we say think, like everyone was giving him their power, and Vegeta's like, I feel like he just laughed and walked away. It was great.
And see, I love that. Spooks might not, but that just cracks me up.
Like in Super, I like him a lot more. I feel like he's a much more likable character. But beginning up until like maybe the Boo saga a little bit, that whole section just complete douchebag. That's all he was. To me, at least.
So you're saying you started to like him around Majin Vegeta, or after that?
Like I remember one scene where like I think it was after Majin Vegeta, like where he was like hugging Trunks or something, and I was like, that's the first like human thing I've seen Vegeta do.
When he sacrificed himself, and
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know that he had like a few redeeming moments in that saga in particular. But before that, I like even during the fucking Cell saga, I know it's all for damn plot. I'm sorry, I just fucking remember this. Vegeta over here going up to Cell, beating the shit out of him and being like, "Get stronger, you punk." And then he literally fucked everybody. Like, Vegeta, this is your fault. Like, Cell could have been finished, everyone's happy, but no.
Vegeta wouldn't have been happy.
Okay, but Vegeta wouldn't have been happy, and Goku
I
wouldn't
don't
have
care
been
what
happy
Vegeta
because
thinks.
Goku gave him a senzu beat after. Like,
Yeah, that's the Saiyan thing.
they're just
Okay,
saying
but
dumbasses.
Goku clearly knew the threat of Cell at the time. Like, he was not letting Cell get to this point. That was Vegeta's fault. That was all Vegeta.
No,
Everyone,
I
like,
agree
Cell
with
was
Briggs on that.
literally
I think they're both
entire
equally
populations of people.
Vegeta wanted to fight Cell at his best. Goku
And that's
wanted Gohan
why
to fight
Vegeta's
Cell
a
at
fucking
his
prick.
best.
He should have just took what he could get.
And then
Okay,
Goku
Goku would
wanted Gohan to fight Cell
100%.
while he was at his best.
Goku would have done
Okay.
the exact same thing in Vegeta's position.
If Vegeta's so prideful, right? If he's so prideful, I get why he would want Cell to become stronger. But then that's where the problem lies, because then Cell's like, oh yeah, Super Saiyan 2, more like sit on the fucking ground, you pleb. Like, what would that do for your pride right there? If you could literally erase this person from existence, and then you're like, hey, go ahead and power up. I'll let you. And then he literally stomps you like you're Krillin.
Okay, I think it would have been like...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yamcha.
Here's what he thought was going to happen. He thought he was going to kick Cell's butt. Cell was going to power up a little bit more, and then he was going to kick Cell's butt again. Like,
yeah,
so he could flaunt it a little bit.
I
like,
get that,
no
but
matter
that's
what
where
you do.
his pride fucked him over and fucked everybody else over too.
Even
Yeah,
worse than
tends to do
that, it was all Krillin's fault. Krillin could have couldn't he have destroyed Android 17?
Don't you go blaming my boy.
Oh, he was just looking out for something else, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
okay, but I would 100% choose pride over love. Like if I were to who fucked up more, who fucked up more?
No, Android and
fuck Android 17.
Wait,
I think we're talking about Android 18.
Is it 18?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
But Android 18, that's like the number one waifu of the series. Like, I'm not one to usually be like defending waifus here, but I think this is the one time I need to bring it up.
Okay, I like her now, but at the time, Krillin, all he knew was that she was a robot, or an android. Like, fuck, you risked all of humanity on a girl that you're not even you've never even talked to or barely even talked to. Like, no, fuck that. I would way rather risk humanity on my.
The things you do for love,
exactly,
way outrun pride any day of the week.
So Frieza, guys.
Okay.
Hold on, wait. You can't just overshadow my boy Krillin like that, though.
I actually really like Krillin.
I feel bad for almost insulting Krillin when I was talking about Cell and Vegeta.
I never really do, just because He's like the strongest human there is.
Yeah,
He's still always the weakest, one of the weakest guys. How does that feel?
I think that's just a Dragon Ball problem in general. To be
Well, that's what
fair,
I'm saying. Once the Saiyans came along, then
everyone sucks
every
after
human
that.
was done for.
Even Piccolo. Piccolo's nothing anymore.
Yeah. I also want to mention that I kind of like Vegeta, like because Vegeta was very prideful, right? But he wasn't. Like, I wasn't like super crazy about him, just like at the beginning, just because he was losing all his fights,
Wait,
and
who are we
like
talking about?
Vegeta, he was inferior to Goku, right?
No,
What he was, he lost against
No.
Goku, and then
On
later on,
Earth?
Goku gets even stronger at
Talking about on
what's it
Earth?
called? Like on Earth, okay, but like just in general, all of Dragon Ball Z, he was always too far behind for my liking and getting his ass kicked a little bit too much. And like I really liked him, so I of course wanted him to at least hold his own. I understand you have to be weaker than Goku, but I wanted him to hold his own a little bit more. And the one thing that I really like about Super is they make Vegeta like almost his equal, like for a good portion of it. Like obviously Goku's kind of like still getting ahead at times in order to defeat enemies, but like for a large portion of it, Vegeta's right there with him. Like he surpassed like Golden Frieza and kicked his ass.
I don't remember how much of a head start did Vegeta get though, because he like didn't even tell Goku he was training with the gods there for the longest time, or that he was training with the Whis and Beerus.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but he got a big head start.
Let's be real. They're all always training. So like him, like that's just him being smarter or more resourceful.
Yeah. All right, so back to Frieza, right?
Yeah, you guys said fuck Frieza.
I don't like Frieza.
Hate Frieza.
Okay, so he's definitely not my favorite villain. My favorite villain would be like Cell if I don't count Vegeta.
For sure.
But I feel like we started off with Raditz, then we moved to Vegeta, and like Frieza was like it kind of set the standard for like obviously I know you guys like motivations, not just evil for the sake of being evil, and I agree. But the one thing I liked about Frieza was he was just so over the top powerful that it gave us something to like look forward to, like Vegeta and Goku training to get stronger to like overcome. Like Raditz seemed powerful, but like we knew they could beat him. Like Vegeta seemed powerful, but we knew it was realistic. Frieza was like out there, like he was just so much more beyond them in power. If like it felt so awesome and it was the best way to introduce a Super Saiyan in my opinion. So like as far as he's not super likable, I think he was actually a good villain.
I would say he's a good villain. I just don't like him. That's my problem.
Okay, then we're on the same page. Fuck
Yeah.
Frieza.
I don't think he would have been as good of a villain if there wasn't so much build-up. Like he had so much to do with the primary setup of the whole series.
Honestly,
He killed the Saiyan race, and so he was the reason for all the stuff that happened in the Saiyan saga. Like all that led up to him. So
like
there's so much build-up. Oh,
Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time against Frieza is definitely like I would say the coolest scene in the series, like hands down.
And how like it wouldn't have been as good if like he went Super Saiyan against Vegeta or he went Super Saiyan against like Cell. I feel because I don't know. I feel like Frieza, like for me anyway, like watching Dragon Ball Z the first time, I viewed Frieza as like one, he was like this alien that we've never seen before compared to like the Saiyans that kind of look normal. And like he just was so untouchable, it felt like to me. Like he was just such a like an evil, insanely powerful presence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. Because he had just whooped like Gohan, Krillin,
And Vegeta.
Piccolo, Vegeta. Like they all took turns. He just kept powering up. He had like a million forms.
Yeah.
It felt
This
like.
isn't even my final form.
I feel like in this case we should probably blame Frieza for I guess something that I'm not a huge fan of.
I see what you're
tweeted
saying.
about
I
this
know
the other
exactly
day,
what you're gonna talk
but
about.
I feel like going past just regular Super Saiyan was kind of a mistake, to be completely honest. But like I could understand going up to 2 and 3. Like I get that. Past that, I'm not a fan. But
Super Saiyan 4 was the coolest transformation.
yeah,
there
but
was.
that's what's it called, right? That's
GT.
That's non-canon.
yeah. So I don't
It's still
count
cooler
that
than Super
really.
Saiyan God.
I just feel like Frieza having all these forms is the reason that like they kept having to power up or like form change the Saiyans over time, which kind of just led to them being way too overpowered. Because like Super Saiyan by itself was such an unheard of thing going into the series. Like they even talked about how like it was a literal legend And that's the one thing that Frieza was scared of, was just like a whisper. And then then they're just like, oh, we can go beyond that. Not even a problem.
And now it's a Super Saiyan bargain sale.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, and that's what it didn't really bother me when they went beyond a Super Saiyan, because Gohan beating Cell was probably one of the more epic moments in the series. But whenever Trunks and Goten were 7 and 8 years old and they turned into Super Saiyans, that's where I was kind of like, eh. Like,
Yeah,
we saw Goku work for that so much.
the power scaling was is so fucked up.
Definitely.
And I can agree with you, Spooky, in that sense, because they had like Frieza have all these forms, and they set this like precedent for like how strong a villain could be. They had to top it every time, and eventually the series just kind of like not went to shit, but like power wise, they had to top it, and it kind of forced them to bring these transformations in. Now I kind of like the transformations. I do agree with Tuzbuki in the sense that like if they stayed at Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 2 and brought like techniques into play, I think it would have been a little bit better. 'Cause I really like original Dragon Ball because they focused on more like hand-to-hand combat and like techniques and like martial arts.
And there was so much potential for that in Dragon Ball in Dragon Ball Z, because like if someone uses a solar flare and then a destructo disc, like what are you gonna do?
Exactly. Like
there's some good techniques like that. And they
now,
just like pretend they don't exist.
Now it's kind of like who could do the biggest power up.
Yeah, that's all it is. Like they used to train so hard, like that's how they got stronger, was through training, and now it's just whoever can reach like the furthest form, that's their power up now. And it's like, yeah, I don't know.
The only thing I agree, I think Super Saiyan 3 was like kind of meh in my opinion, but like once you got to Super Saiyan 3 and it was like a flawed form, I feel like at that point just fuck it, go hard. I replied to your tweet. I agree with you. If they stayed with like Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2 and like focused on like the combat and the martial arts, I think that would have been the better route. But once you get to Super Saiyan 3 and it's kind of a garbage form, just fuck it, go hard with that point. Like we all just wanted more transformations.
But like what's a Super Saiyan God? Like and then you go Super Saiyan as a Super Saiyan God for Super Saiyan Blue. Like what? Like it looks cool. I give the blue one that. I think it looks really badass. But there's no point. At that point, you're a literal embodiment of a god, and nobody can touch you. You can flick a planet, it's gone. Poor Yamcha right now is playing baseball somewhere. He used to fuck people up.
Well, that's what.
Yo, the power scaling is fucked. I 100% agree.
They definitely did. Yamcha dirty. He used to be another one of my favorite characters.
And what is Golden Frieza? Like, no.
Okay, I don't understand Golden Frieza, but the one thing I have to give to Super, I know you guys aren't caught up. I think the forms are actually like amazing in a sense, because it's not just a power up like it was in like Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. It's like the Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan God and this new one that I'm not going to talk about. They're all like, it's kind of like taking the flaws of Super Saiyan and making it better in a sense. Like Super Saiyan Blue is basically Super Saiyan, but rather than like Super Saiyan's inefficient because like your energy's flowing out of you and you consume energy so fast.
I'd say it doesn't use ki, does it? It uses that divine energy or whatever instead. Like
yeah, it's like you're using like, yeah, exactly. So the original Super Saiyan, obviously I'm not super refreshed on this. I can make should make an actual like video and detailed video about this. But Super Saiyan like is inefficient in the sense that like your ki or your power is like leaving your body, and you're also in like a little bit of range, so you're not calm at the time, so you're not able to like be as strategic or like well thought out in fighting. Obviously, I'm not explaining this very well at all. But then Super Saiyan Blue is like you're keeping all of that power, like you're doing your transformation, but you're keeping it in. You're staying calm. You're using your like divine spirit, blah 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 bullshit. But like, it's basically a Super Saiyan, but like not. You're keeping like your mental state calm. Like,
yeah, I mean, I understand all that, and it's very. I
just like that as not a power up. Just like, oh, I'm stronger now because I have more energy. Now it's like you're being more efficient. You like your mental state's like better. So like, even though you may not actually be as powerful, like power level wise, you're a stronger fighter, and that's like the new ability is. I feel like in that sense
I definitely understand that concept, and I actually like it. But the reason I don't think it'll ever really amount to what the Super Saiyan was when it first came around was kind of what we were talking about before, was all the buildup that went into it. Like I said, they fought Frieza for literally an entire season, and he kicked everybody's butt, and then he finished it off by killing my boy Krillin, one of the
R.I.P.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
all the
definitely
build-up
not
that
as
went into that definitely made it such a legendary transformation that anything they
Bro.
did after that was going to kind of pale in comparison.
And
I remember sitting on my couch as I was like 6 or 7 and watching that transformation for the first time, and like it's engraved in my memory.
I take that back. Because Gohan's against Cell was also legendary, but
like I
those
feel
two,
like
I can't think of any others that amount to those.
why Super Saiyan was like such a legendary thing at the time is because like to achieve Super Saiyan, for instance, I don't remember the exact specifics, but I feel like the reason it had never happened before is because usually Saiyans have like a one-track mind, right? Like Goku's all about just fighting and having fun, and Vegeta's all about being the strongest there ever was and being an arrogant asshole. So for Goku to like achieve Super Saiyan, he had to experience nothing but like incomprehensible rage to like get to that point. Because he was like yelling at everybody to like get the fuck back before he went into this form. I just feel like it was such a legendary transformation to get to that point. Whereas in the future now, everyone's just powering up. And
you know what pissed me off so much? They describe like people could do like the other universe learn how to do like become a Super Saiyan by like a feeling in your back. I'm like, fuck this.
Like you just got to get really angry, and then
It was essentially it's like try to like tense up your. I don't even want to talk about it. Like that's what Too Spooky was saying. Like there was like they had to overcome something. Like Goku had to like experience this rage, while Vegeta kind of had to like
be a good
not
guy.
just be a good guy. Exactly.
Oh, and then they had the Boo saga, where literally like they had the one being in the universe that was supposedly the most dangerous that had been sealed up. But even the Supreme Kai that came in was basically looking at Goku, looking at Vegeta, looking at Gohan, and just saying, "Who are you guys? Like you guys have already broken the power scale so bad." He didn't know how to react to it.
You guys have literally broke the scale. How can we continue from here? Oh wait, their
Like they had
hair's
to
blue.
keep going up.
I definitely agree that they don't have as much weight as they once did. I just think that if they continue to do like Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan 5 as just kind of like a power up, rather than actually putting some thought into it and like making it a little bit different, it would like absolutely suck.
I definitely agree. I do like the concept of not just wasting your energy. Kind of like how Goku could never use Kaioken and Super Saiyan because they both use Ki, but he can use Kaioken along with Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah, like you need to have Ki control while using Super Kaioken, and that's why he can't do it in Super Saiyan because his Ki control is a lot less because it's kind of like flowing out of his body viciously in like a rage. While in Super Saiyan Blue, it's a lot more calm and like efficient in his body.
Definitely added a lot more depth to the whole system, but it just like I said, there just wasn't as much build up to it. Like,
oh yeah,
when was the first time there was Super Saiyan Blue? Was that against Frieza or Gold Frieza?
I think so.
Yeah,
if I recall. But I just had
Frieza.
I just had a huge epiphany. All right, to bring it back to why Vegeta's an asshole. Okay, so if Vegeta wants to be the strongest there ever was, right? So at some point he's gonna find out. Let's say it's all about Vegeta. Like let's say he kills Goku. He already killed Nappa. He kills Gohan for that matter. He's the last Saiyan, right? At some point, let's say Vegeta just keeps getting stronger. He eventually learns how to become a Super Saiyan. He basically takes Goku's place, except in asshole form. So eventually he's going to find out about Super Saiyan God, and he's going to be like, oh, fuck, I need to do that. And then he's going to hear about how you need 5 other Saiyans, who are Super Saiyans for that matter.
I know. I see what you're doing.
To become one in the first place, and he's going to be like, oh, fucking wait a second, I fucking killed all of them. God damn it, I'm an asshole. And I also blew up the Earth because I did not want human Saiyan hybrids running around. It's something he said. I just read it a minute ago. So he's going to blow up the Earth too. He's going to have nothing. And he's going to be like, well, now I can't become a god. So much for my goddamn pride. Fuck you, Vegeta.
Well, I mean, okay, that's hilarious. I agree with that. But Goku could now use Super Saiyan God without actually. Like,
I know. I'm just saying, like, once you first had to get there, he would have needed to do that, and he wouldn't have anybody because he fucking killed them all. Thanks, Vegeta.
Another thing
Yeah,
that's
never thought of
kind of. Oh yeah, I never thought of that scenario. But that's hilarious. It's kind of like karma. Um, the one thing I kind of like as well, like there was this one scene in Dragon Ball Super. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. I think it was in like right after Golden Frieza, like the next arc.
hmm
Basically,
I've seen up
Goku.
to the let's say up
What?
to Black Goku is what I've seen.
I don't remember actually when it happened, but Goku basically was fighting someone, and in like because there's benefits between like Super Saiyan 2, 3, God, and Blue, he like in one fight he swapped between like all four, but they were all for different reasons depending on what attack and what like situation he was in. I don't know which scene it was. It was against. I feel like it was against like a scrub. It didn't even matter, but like depending on what he wanted to do, like he had these, he used a different formula. He's like snap it on and off, snap it on and off. Like it was just really cool to see it used in that like dynamic way. I just wanted to add that.
That does sound cool, but I don't remember.
You know,
I don't think I've gotten that far.
it may have been like right after. I know it's not recent. I just remember seeing that one scene. And it's kind of like engraved into my memory, just because I thought it was cool that he used God to counter one thing, then Blue to counter another.
Yeah,
like within like one like fighting motion type of thing. It was cool.
I see.
But anyway, is there anything else you guys want to add character wise?
I am a huge fan of the androids, specifically 18 and 17. The other two, not so much. And Cell, for that matter.
Cell's
But-
great.
the other three. Can't forget 16.
I think Cell's my
that's
favorite
right.
arc.
16 is my boy. How could I even? I'm disappointed in myself.
Kill
I think he's one of
Goku.
the best
16.
ones.
Yeah, he was. I need to go hit myself real quick, but okay, moving on. Anyways, I guess like the one thing that kind of bugged me about them though, like even though I am huge fans of them, so you go from Frieza who can literally flick a planet to death, right?
Mhm.
I feel like the androids probably should have been able to do the same thing because they were basically made to kill Goku. Like that was their goal. So they had to be stronger than Goku to do that in the first place. So I imagine they probably had the ability to. They had planetary power. Let's just put it at that.
Oh, for sure.
I guess it just kind of like weirded me out how you could go from someone like Frieza who could do that to a robot, because you also have to think like future Trunk comes in here and he's like, these things we can't fuck around, and he literally diced up Frieza like a fucking shish kebab before when he first appeared.
Oh, I agree 100%. The fact that humans were able to make something that would be that much stronger than Frieza, one of the strongest beings in the universe, just blew my mind.
And then how could they just get pushed aside like they're nothing?
And then it didn't even feel like they were as strong as Frieza. I see what you're saying.
Because like they come in and like
Honestly,
like
they never
Vegeta
really
for
got
instance.
pushed aside, though. They were still stronger than a lot of the Z fighters, and like Cell had to absorb them to be able to.
Well, I'm talking maybe like in the Boo saga, I would say,
Oh yeah.
where they kind of get.
Mhm.
I feel like everyone just keeps getting pushed aside.
Yeah.
As I don't really know where I was going with all this, but I really like the
I
androids.
think Android 18 just had different priorities by then. Like, she had a family. She wanted the money from the tournament. She wasn't really too focused on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's the problem. If you're not Goku, Vegeta, or Gohan, you don't have really a chance, because everyone else, like those, more even Vegeta and Goku, because Vegeta, like they're the ones like defeating the enemy, so they have to like they end up receiving like the power up at that time, and then everyone else is kind of just left in the dust.
Oh, that's what sucks about freaking Akira Toriyama. He's been doing that for so freaking long. Like I said, most of my favorite characters used to be like Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, and then they were. What was that one chick's name that had every time she sneezed she changed?
launch.
Launch. Like
Oh, what
Akira
happened to
Toriyama
her?
forgot she existed when
Yep.
he made Dragon Ball Z. Like that's how much he just said screw all the Dragon Ball characters. Like,
And Dragon Ball was awesome, man.
I loved it just because Goku is literally destroying everyone without a second thought. Which I can understand. That's why the androids got made, because he single-handedly destroyed a whole army.
yeah.
But I feel like that's the thing I kind of miss. I miss that hand-to-hand combat, that like martial arts feel that the Dragon Ball doesn't have anymore because of how fucked up the power scaling's got, or like the powers have got. And that's
Yeah.
why it wouldn't be a podcast if I don't recommend Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple.
Oh,
It's over the top fighting, but like it's like it feels like like Dragon Ball in the sense that it's like hand to hand combat. There's no energy waves flying around destroying planets.
It's definitely a lot better than Dragon Ball if you want like a sense of realism in a lot of the fighting. Because
Yeah,
while there are some overpowered characters that are definitely over the top, a lot of the fighting doesn't take place with them. It's with the kids that are learning the martial arts.
for sure. Oh man, it wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't mention Kenichi.
I'm
Scoops, have
aware.
you watched that yet?
No, I'm a pleb.
He will eventually though. It's on his.
Oh, I will. It is most definitely gonna happen.
I hyped it up. I'm hyping it up way too much, but I'm not. It's gonna beat it. It's gonna beat the hype.
I mean, it's not perfect, but it's definitely kind of like
It just-
Dragon Ball.
it
It's
just-
very enjoyable.
It's just so enjoyable.
When you talk about Dragon Ball Z and somehow no matter what, you're always getting back to Kenichi. That's basically the ADA podcast in a nutshell.
Yeah. If I didn't mention it now, I would have ended it with a close. Watch Kenichi or something.
Watch Kenichi.
I
know we
swear
didn't
that's how
get to
he
it this
summarizes
time.
every episode. He's like, by the way, summary of this episode, watch Kenichi.
Yup. I just feel like it deserves so much. Like, if it was popular, I feel like I wouldn't talk about it as much, or I probably wouldn't even be drawn to it as much. Like, I still love it, but it boggles my mind how it can be so like so many people don't know
niche.
about it. It's just so okay. Fuck Dragon Ball. We're talking about Kenichi now, but it just boggles my mind how niche it is, considering like how awesome it is. Like everyone knows about Hajime no Ippo. At least like if you're an anime fan for a while, like Hajime no Ippo is like
You at least heard of it.
you at least heard of it as like one of the best sports anime.
Well, that's whenever you talk about shows that get you like hyped to work out or something, like get you motivated, get you pumped. Like Dragon Ball Z, Ippo, and then Kenichi are like the three shows that come to mind. So
yeah,
the
but I
fact
feel like
that
Kenichi is sometimes left out, and
it is, and it's kind of a shame. It's
I
a
was
good thing you're doing,
watching-
Briggs. Trying
yeah.
to spread the word.
I don't remember who I was watching the other day. Like he makes like analytical videos, and he's actually like a big YouTuber. And like he was like in the middle of his video, he's like, "My guilty pleasure, one of my favorite anime, Kenichi." Like he's mentioned them. Like yes, and like fuck, what's his name?
I don't know. I know Nux mentioned it in a video the other day.
Yeah,
I don't
Nux
know.
Nux is an awesome YouTuber. I Patch Wolf.
Oh, did he?
Mm.
Yeah, he's like I think it was in the Hajime no Ippo video. He mentions Kenichi.
That's awesome. I've
So
seen it, I just don't remember.
Oh,
Back to Dragon Ball.
I just got one last question for you before we move on, which would be, what would you say is like your most disappointing villain or villains in Dragon Ball Z? Like the ones, or any character for that matter, that just kind of you had bigger hopes and they let you down.
Raditz was
I can agree to
Goku's
that.
Brother, like the brother of the main character, he comes in, beats everybody's butt, like Goku and Piccolo at the same time, and then Nappa and Vegeta come down, and they can literally grow like 6 Raditz. Like,
Well, they did call Raditz a weakling.
I know, but that was like the biggest letdown for me, though, was the fact that they made Goku's brother that weak.
I feel like Raditz had more, but like, yeah, I definitely agree. Very disappointing. I feel like Raditz could have been something better. Like he could have been the legendary Super Saiyan.
Like if he went Super Saiyan 1, he would have already been Super Saiyan 3. Like,
Yep. I didn't even think about that. Be like,
I think that's why they got killed off, just because like Nappa was bald, Raditz had long hair. It just wasn't like it wouldn't work.
he'd be like Rapunzel, Super Saiyan 3.
well, that's what, I don't know.
It'd be a reverse. Like he would go back to.
Oh,
like, Super Saiyan 2.
he'd go Nappa, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
I'll
That's
just
what Dragon
disagree.
Ball makes me mad, by introducing all these characters that you think will be really important and then just never bringing them up again. Like, do they even talk about Raditz again after he dies? Like,
Probably
besides-
just like a mention. Like, oh yeah, Goku's brother. That asshole.
Yeah, like in One Piece and some other shows, like even like 400 episodes, 300 episodes later, when they mention some small things or like do a well like situated flashback, it hits me like in the feels, or like it's like kind of like I'm really into it, or
Uh-huh.
gets me really immersed when they mention those little things. And I feel like Dragon Ball just like forgets about everything.
Yeah. I mean, if he can forget about launch, he can forget about other stuff too.
Well, that's what Akira Toriyama is, just such a cluster, dude. I love him. But, like, he just forgot the Saiyans had tails, and that's why Goten and Trunks didn't have tails. Like, he just forgot. Like,
You're right. Like,
just little things like that.
I only have one person I can think of off the top of my head who I feel is like a good contender for as underused as Raditz. I can't remember his exact name. It's either Dabra or Dabura.
Oh, Dabura?
Yeah, like the demon guy
Yeah.
hanging around with those little, I can't remember their names either.
Bobbity.
But yes. I feel like he's so menacing looking. I feel like he should have done more.
Not just menacing looking, dude. He could literally spit on somebody and turn him to stone. Like, that's a useful power.
And sure enough, just tossed aside.
Actually, he was eaten.
For a, was he? Well, I mean, tossed aside to get eaten.
Yeah.
He didn't
Good way to
do
go,
much.
Even Bobbity. What did Bobbity do? I feel like he was hyped up a little bit. Both of them. They were hyped up to do nothing.
They were hyped up to unleash Boo, I guess.
Yeah.
Who eats chocolate?
I like the Boo arc. I think Boo was a decent villain.
I feel like it's definitely my least favorite out of the entire series, but it's not terrible.
I like the start of it, but I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Yeah, I'm a little bit indifferent. I really like Cell arc. It's my favorite arc. I like Vegeta arc and Frieza. Oh yeah, I guess it is one of my least favorites, other than Raditz. I don't even know if that counts as an arc.
I consider that
I
part of the
guess
same arc.
he would be my least favorite arc, but I still thought it was a decent arc.
Yeah, like it's decent, but it's definitely like the weakest arc, I would say.
I like the build up to it more than the actual fighting Boo.
Ooh, the tournament was cool.
Yeah, the little tournament arc. I
Right.
kind of wish they would have.
Finished it off. Videl got her ass like handed to her by that guy.
Yep.
It was like, I don't know. I guess because like the Great Saiyaman was incorporated a little bit, and like Gohan, if Gohan's incorporated and he's still not like he's not at suck mode yet in Super, I'll probably like enjoy the arc.
So, who's you guys' favorite female character from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z?
Android 18. Like, is that a question?
I just didn't know because
Is there a different answer?
Can I say Vegeta?
I feel like women are so empowered in Dragon Ball.
I was gonna say
You have
Bulma,
guys
but
that
I realized I like Bulma because of Vegeta.
So you have guys that can literally blow up planets for fun, and there they are getting scared of their wives and stuff. Like,
I mean, the only contender is non-canon at this point.
Oh, is it like what about Krillin's like Ting? Is that the person you're talking about? That random?
I was talking to Android
like Bulma?
21, the gonna be in Dragon DBZ fight or Dragon Ball Fighter Z or whatever it's gonna be called.
I don't know. My favorite was always personally Videl, but
Yeah,
Like
I like Videl and Gohan, but you remember Krillin before like he got with Android 18, that like chick, Bulla?
Yeah.
Or...
Marin or something.
wait,
or
Oh, Mary. Yeah, there we go.
Marin.
Isn't that his daughter though?
Maybe I'm getting their names mixed up.
This is one episode where this like really hot chick was with Krillin.
She looks
Oh.
kind of like Bulma, but she's not. Like,
Oh, maybe it was filler or something. I don't
yeah,
remember.
it was.
Yeah, it was definitely Phil.
But I feel like Android 18 definitely the best female character, hands down, no question. She's got planetary power. I don't know how
I
you
love
can top
Android
that.
18, so it's hard for me to fight with these DBZ waifu wars or whatever they
She is best girl.
I mean,
I don't know. I like Android 18, but Videl's still best girl.
This is so hard. I can't decide.
Android 18 could snap her neck with her
Oh,
pinky finger.
we're not putting them up head to head in a brawl. That ain't how you decide best girl. Otherwise, Goku would probably be.
Well,
Best boy,
if you're
you don't
not
like
if you're
Goku.
not incorporating power, then you're just all about the looks here, and that's quit being scummy.
No,
I mean, what about personality?
Yeah,
Personality, spooks. They're not
dude, she was Android 18 was like she was straight evil, and then she goes for this sad little bald guy over here. I mean,
Don't even
Oh,
call him sad.
I love Krillin, so I do love Android 18, but
That's the thing. I was like, I said I was thinking like Bulma, but I realized I only like Bulma because of Vegeta, and then I'm kind of like really like Android 18 because of Krillin, and then I like Videl
Bulma
because of
grew on me, but I
Gohan.
used to really hate
Like-
Bulma. Like,
Toriyama ruined Bulma for me because of how heavily he sexualized her in like just Dragon Ball. It was
yeah, I didn't like her in the original Dragon Ball at all. Like I said, if anything, I kind of liked the old, like 40-something-year-old
I agree.
mom
Old
wife
version.
Bulma, but yeah, I didn't like her when she was younger.
Okay, I just realized we didn't talk about Goku.
oh I feel like Goku, probably aside from Cell, I'd say those two my favorite by far. Except I feel like Goku got shafted in Dragon Ball Super, his personality wise. That is.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I like Goku. Whenever I start watching like Dragon Ball Super or something, where I'm watching the sub version in the original Japanese, I can't stand his voice. It ruins it for me.
Goku, like in Dragon Ball Super, at least from what I've seen so far, he's just like he's way too childish. Like he was never quite that childish. Like he was definitely like kind of dumb because like
Yeah.
he was just all about fighting and he didn't really understand people very well. But he's literally just like mental in Dragon Ball Super.
He's like a 7-year-old kid in a man's body.
I had an epiphany a little bit earlier because wasn't there a time in the Buu arc where he was basically talking to the Elder Supreme Kai and he was saying that if he helped him out, he'd get to kiss Bulma or something?
Oh yeah, he did.
So he knew what a kiss was, but then in Super, he sees Future Trunks kiss Mai or whatever her name is, and like he freaks out. Like, what is that? Like, I'm like, dude, you have 2 kids and you don't know what a kiss is? Like,
It's called a plot hole.
That was literally Vegeta's comment.
yeah,
You-
like
you have 2 kids,
What
or
are
like
you
you
talking
have a
about?
wife.
It's things like that. Like I guess like the main thing that kind of was like, okay, this is not the Goku I remember.
yeah,
Is all throughout Dragon Ball, he was all about saving the world, like when it came down to it, or like defeating this villain to save his friends or his comrades, whatever you want to call them. Like he was just
Sometimes
straight up
just-
bad. Like he was a badass when he needed to
yeah.
be.
Or
But in Dragon
sometimes
Ball
just straight
Super-
up avenge his friends. Like,
Yeah, and then in Dragon Ball Super over here, like as soon as Beerus comes down, he's like, "Oh, please let me fight you, dude. Like, let's go right now." He has no consideration for the fact that this guy can flick the plant. Like, I know I keep saying flick
He
the
could
plant, but literally,
sneeze.
literally
Yeah.
can though. On
yeah,
Earth
he
with
could
fight.
sneeze on the fucking ground and destroy everyone. And Goku's like, "Come on, let's just have a little fight."
They're
He doesn't
punching.
give a shit
When they
anymore.
collided, they were close to like destroying the universe.
Yeah, he doesn't care anymore. Like back when Cell and Majin Buu and even Vegeta, like Goku was all about like we got to throw down to save people here.
Would you
He was
say?
badass?
I mean,
Okay,
he
but,
kind of
like,
risked the
he
universe
did-
whenever he gave Cell the sensu bean, but other than that, I agree.
He did have a few moments of that, but I still think at the end of the day, it did feel like he was trying to save the world. Now it doesn't even feel, when he's fighting someone, it doesn't feel like he's trying to save. He's just trying to like defeat an opponent and like have a good fight.
Would
I
you
feel
say
like
that's
they
whenever-
lost to the justice in his character, the heroicness in his character.
And I'm not saying like he was straight out great Saiyan man, I'm gonna save people over here, but he definitely had more of a moral compass in a sense
Yeah.
than he has now. Now he's just all about like he's puppy dog for these fights, and it's just not Goku I remember.
I also want to point out you most likely like watched the English dub when you watched Dragon Ball Z.
Oh no, I watched the sub
Did you?
for a fact. Yep.
See that? I just remember like
my bad. I read Dragon Ball Z. I didn't. I thought you were talking about Super. My fault.
that's what I'm saying. The sub for Super, I haven't watched the dub, but I remember in Dragon Ball Z when I heard his voice in sub for the first time in like actually like Dragon Ball Z, like I accidentally like clicked an episode or I saw it a clip somehow, and I'm like, he seems so much because it's so much more high pitched of a voice. I
Yeah.
feel like whatever studio dubbed him may have given him this persona of being like heroic or being more like I don't know. I watched a video the other day on YouTube, and the guy was basically saying like the
He has the
dubbing
same
company,
voice actor as Gohan and Goten. Like,
Well,
Yeah,
he was
the
a
vo-
kid originally, right?
but the dubbing company like changed his personality a little bit.
I could see that.
So now
Well,
that Super came out and everyone's forced to watch it in subbed, I think they still changed it, but I think this was his original like intent to be like this. And then we watched Dragon Ball Z, which was like changed for an American audience.
yeah,
Well,
I enjoy
but I-
Super Saiyan Goku or Superman Goku more.
But I
Yeah,
read the
everybody
manga
was-
though, so like
I don't know.
I had to interpret it myself through words.
Maybe
Yeah,
you're right. Maybe just like the voice thing.
Well, as far as
A
I know,
little
it's
bit.
because like in Dragon Ball when he was a kid, usually Japanese women voice kids a lot of times. So they just carried her voice actor over into Dragon Ball Z and just kept her ever since.
yeah.
And a
So-
voice makes a huge difference. Like if you're watching Dragon Ball Z and you get this like tough, deep voice for in English, and then get this like Japanese girl for for the sub, like I feel like that changes the personality of a character. Right?
It really
Yeah.
does. It makes a big impact.
And I know there was one scene like when he first became Super Saiyan, it was different in the sub versus the dub. Like they made him more like heroic, like for justice, or I'll be the like I don't know. Like I remember like Great Saiyaman was saying that like Goku's one-liners are great. Apparently they made his one-liners like more heroic than in the sub.
That's
I think that was from a Super Eye Patch Wolf video actually.
Hey,
Yeah.
Spooks.
Yeah.
You know how you were talking about Goku wanting to fight Beerus on Earth?
Yeah.
Would you say that's whenever you started to like Vegeta a little bit more, since he was trying to be a family man and he was like, hey, whatever we do, let's not fight Beerus on Earth?
Yeah. Like Vegeta was much more rational. But like, I know you're talking about his pride earlier, but you can definitely see that Vegeta has put his pride aside in
By that
many
point,
different
yeah.
situations. Like he still has it, but obviously he's not full force. Hey, Cell, power up, or hey, Beerus, give me all you got. Like he understands. Like
Like,
that's
hey,
why Vegeta
everybody
wouldn't
dies
go
if
up
we
against
fight right now.
Frieza back in the day. Like Vegeta wouldn't go up against Frieza because he knew he would get bitch slapped into next week. So like he knew his limitations,
Oh, definitely.
which is something I do like about Vegeta because he's not a complete. Well, then Cell
He's also
Yeah,
a better dad
definitely.
than Goku.
Super Vegeta, much better than Dragon Ball Z Vegeta, in my opinion. Dragon Ball Z Goku, so much better than Dragon Ball Super Goku.
I think best Vegeta is like Cell to Buu, like the end of Dragon Ball Z.
But he let Cell power up. It's not okay.
That does not bother me at all. Literally everyone
No,
was
it really
stupid.
doesn't.
Goku gave him a sense of being, and Krillin like risked humanity for love. Like everyone's stupid.
They all fucked up.
They all
I
fucked
guess
up.
you're right. They all. I just feel like Vegeta fucked up. Well, the Sensu Bean thing, I feel like that could have, in a way, like changed Cell's morale. He definitely could have been like, "Wow, I can't believe you did that. You guys are so nice. This is a great tournament. I'm not gonna kill you guys. I'll just go somewhere else."
I don't think Goku would have been happy with that.
No.
It's not necessarily like obviously him and Cell were still gonna fight. I just feel like Vegeta fucked him over the most by far. Because I mean, all's well that ends well. Krillin came out on top more than anybody here. Goku died, so he fucked up. Vegeta let Cell get to that point, which killed Goku in the end. So Vegeta fucked that up. Like Krillin knew what he was doing. Krillin got what he came for out of this whole situation here. So his fuck up benefited him real hard, but fucked over everybody else.
That's true.
And then Vegeta fucked over everybody. Goku fucked over himself, really.
And King Kai.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like Goku definitely did the least damage, all things considered.
I mean, that's only because Gohan was able to bail him out, though.
Well,
That's true. If he put all
Gohan
his
didn't win that fight after he.
then that would have been Gohan's fuck up then. I mean, well, it would have been Goku's fuck up.
You put yourself in Gohan's shoes.
Gohan could absolutely kill Cell at that moment, and then Goku's like, "Oh, here's a sensu bean. Let's make it harder on my son." That's That's basically what happened.
Your dad, who you've always looked up to, just went toe to toe with this guy, wore him down, gives up, puts you in, and then basically gives that guy a boost. Like,
Well, I guess that's where you got to look at it like, okay, Goku has a lot of
Flaws.
Well, yeah, he has his flaws, but he has a lot of hope for his son. He's got I don't know what the right word is. I'll think of it and I'll get back to you.
Now I'm trying to think of the word.
I know, same, but
I
I don't
think
know.
it's actually
It's
time
one
to
of those
wrap.
things where it doesn't matter how much you believe in your son, just doing that.
Yeah. He believes in Gohan. We'll just put it at that. He believes so hard in Gohan. Like, he knows Gohan is going to mess this guy up. He wants Gohan, like, since Vegeta already fucked up and let him get to this point, he
That's
wants Gohan to fight him at his full to spite Vegeta. To spite Vegeta. That's why Goku did it.
That's
right
'cause-
there.
Because Vegeta believed in himself, Spooks, and that's what's most important.
I think
Oh,
everyone in
He's like, I'm gonna beat Perfect Cell because I'm that
And
good.
look what happened. He got bitch slapped. And then Goku's like, hey, Vegeta, you see my son over here?
no,
Watch
then
this,
Gohan
Senzu
would've-
Bean.
Hey, let's just put it this way: Gohan would have lost himself if it wasn't for Vegeta. You
No,
remember that?
no.
They were
Gohan would have
going
even had to.
Kamehameha, the
All right.
Kamehameha.
All
It was
right.
about even.
If
Cell's winning.
Vegeta
blasts him.
If Vegeta would have just killed Cell in his second form, Gohan wouldn't have even needed to fight Cell because he'd be dead.
But then they wouldn't have gotten that strong. They wouldn't have had the biggest challenge. Where's the
You
fun in
really
that?
think my boy Gohan ain't gonna be the most boss guy in town? I mean, Vegeta's gonna be like,
'cause
I'm
if
bet-
Vegeta kills him, then
All right.
Gohan goes back to studying. And he doesn't
Here's
do
my
anything else.
prediction. Here's my prediction, right? Vegeta kills Cell instead of being an asshole, right? Vegeta thinks he's hot shit now. So he turns on everybody and he's like, "Hey, now you guys got to fight me cuz I'm Overlord Vegeta here. No one can touch this." And then, then they got to train so Gohan can beat the shit out of Vegeta.
No, that wouldn't have happened.
Uh,
Bulma already had Vegeta whipped by that point.
Oh, no way. They weren't even together at that point. Like they had their one night stand or two. I'll give them that. But they
And
were
that was
definitely
enough
were
to
not
keep
together.
him around.
Because he was being a dick to future Trunks the whole time. When that's his own son. No, Vegeta was still a dick.
Hey,
He was being
I
a
feel
horrible
like,
father.
I feel like him being a dick was still better than Goku as a father. Like he
Definitely.
was, I think
Well-
he would be a dick, and then but in a way, like it would be like a lesson in order to like help his son get stronger.
I feel like most of the time that was the case, but when he gave Cell a power-up, he disregarded future Trunks completely. That was all Vegeta being an asshole.
Well, he was
Right there.
disappointed in his son because he doesn't have that Saiyan pride. His son was a pansy ass compared to him.
His
couldn't
son
accept that.
walked in with a fucking sword and turned Frieza into like mincemeat. I would be like, hell yeah.
Because
Look
he
at
came
this
in
guy.
crying because the future was a wreck because
Well,
he couldn't handle it himself.
I only almost got killed by Frieza. And then here comes this kid walking in with a fucking meat cleaver, turning this guy to nothing. I don't know.
If
I
Vegeta
feel
had
like,
been a Super Saiyan by that point, he would have been able to too.
I mean, I definitely agree with you, but I feel like Vegeta was just being an asshole to his son at that point.
Well, he was disappointed. He said, "Why would you come back here to ask for help whenever you're still around? Like, do it yourself. You're Saiyan. You're a man.
Well, Cell wasn't
Man up."
in that universe.
I
if
know,
I
but he
recall.
couldn't even beat the androids, and that's what Vegeta was disappointed about.
Well, neither could Vegeta at first. The androids wrecked him. Vegeta came in, he's like, "What are these fucking robots?" Wrecked.
Actually, he didn't. He beat up Android 19, but yeah, 18.
Well, okay, 18 and 19 are plebs. I'm talking 17, 18. They're the ones that wrecked Vegeta.
Yeah.
But Android 19 and 18, I'm sorry, 19 and 20, they're nothing. Who needs them?
Yeah, that's true.
They're plebs.
Did Vegeta ever beat anybody like worth mentioning in the series? Like actually be the one to
Nappa.
catch him off? Nappa?
Well, Goku beat Nappa. Vegeta just murdered him in cold
Yeah, I
blood.
know. I was just messing around.
Fucking
Yeah,
asshole!
he beat a few of Frieza's men, like Dodoria and Zarbon and
Well, he
Yeah.
chopped off, what's his name? Guldo?
Guldo. But I mean, besides,
Chopped
like,
his head right off.
there was never any main guy that he beat, did he? Besides Cell.
Well-
I do got to give Vegeta props for karate chopping that guy's head right off. That was brutal.
That was. He just didn't care.
He actually in Dragon Ball Super he defeated Golden Frieza essentially. Like they wouldn't give it to him though. They wouldn't give him the W.
Yeah, that was bad. They stole that from him. That was stupid.
They just couldn't do it. Like he defeated him, and you guys all watched it, right?
Yeah.
I believe I saw up to that point.
Yeah, and then Frieza's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna destroy the world." And then Whis is like, or Whis, "I'm gonna go back in time." And then Goku's like, "Okay, I'll get the kill that Vegeta deserved."
Yeah, and then Goku basically steps in and tries to take credit, and it's BS.
But I give that all to Vegeta right there. He obtained Super Saiyan Blue and was stronger than Golden Frieza.
Well, yeah, but this is Dragon Ball Super Vegeta. That's good Vegeta. I'm talking
Ooh.
trash Vegeta here.
What? I don't think there is a trash Vegeta, so I'm confused. I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess he's not complete trash in any aspect. I feel like I went too far there. He's definitely just an asshole, and that's why I don't like him. But he has his redeeming qualities from time to, and his redeeming moments from time to time. But letting Cell power up is not one of them.
Well, that's totally
That's pure plot and Vegeta's arrogance.
No, that's Spooks. Are you a man? Well, if you
I
had to
believe
fight someone,
so.
would you want to fight them at their best? You
Hell
want
no.
to have their hands tied
Okay.
behind their back.
If
Nah,
someone's
you
like,
say, let's
fight
tie
me,
those
he's in
hands up and fight
crutches. Exactly.
All
That's a
right.
pride thing right there. I respect that. That was one of the moments I love Vegeta.
I love how you guys are like completely opposite.
I am very opposite. All right. If Perfect Cell over here, like let's say I'm Vegeta, okay? If Perfect Cell over here is not Perfect Cell, he's second form Cell right now. Like I see that handicap. I'm taking him out. I ain't risking this.
See, Spooks, this is where you gotta learn. There's an old saying for this.
It's called "Don't die."
You gotta work harder, not smarter.
It's called Save Humanity.
I feel
What do
like
you what do you say,
Harder, not
Jordan?
Backwards,
smarter.
Jordan.
Hard work triumphs all. Do push-ups, sit-ups, and drink plenty of juice.
Well, I could become One Punch Man, all right, if I wanted to really go for it. I just got to follow his workout routine, right? Maybe Vegeta should have did that, and he wouldn't have got wrecked by Cell.
Vegeta would laugh at Saitama's workout routine. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, as soon as he gets flicked by him and dies.
Vegeta will go to 300 times gravity and then do 10,000 push-ups.
Did you guys read the spin-off manga where Vegeta fights Saitama?
That
I did not.
exists?
Yeah,
That's a
it's a thing.
I'm about to go read that
Saitama.
right now.
I'm not gonna ruin it. Like nothing really happens, but yeah.
I'm about to
They
go read that
fight.
right now. You got me hyped for that. I can't wait to see my boy Vegeta beat
Well, anyway,
Saitama.
I think that is the end of this podcast.
So,
Thank you guys for joining me, like always.
Do we have a clear winner?
You
though?
want to
That's
add
the
in
question.
more?
Do we have
so
a
the
clear
summary of
winner?
this podcast is
Well,
No.
it's
Vegeta's
2 against
the
1
goat.
here, Spooks.
and watch Kenichi.
I'm upset.
Well, like at the end of the day, we did admit that he's an asshole, but we just love him we love that about him. I think he's
Okay.
hilarious. I think he's a prideful, arrogant, best guy.
But you have to admit that he pulled some very bullshit things over time that
Nope.
is very unlikable.
Nope, I refuse to admit.
He
anything about
murdered
Vegeta
Nappa
is
in cold
unlikable.
blood.
He murdered-
That's
Okay,
the
but like the
worst
two
one.
scenes that you described to be like unlikable is when he murders Nappa and when he like lets what's his name?
Lets
Android
Cell
17 or Cell
Like I
my
said.
bad. Let's Cell power up. But
Like I
like
said, I like
some of
Nappa.
his ruthless moments are like my
They're the best
favorite. He
moments.
kills Nappa when he comes in and like finishes off the Ginyu Force guys. I'm like, what an absolute like savage.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
I don't
I
know.
like Nappa.
Like
but
he's not a
Vegeta
bitch
has
like
been dealing
Goku's
with
gonna
Nappa
let
for,
these
what,
guys
20
live.
years.
Well,
Pardon?
I like Nappa. So I like Nappa. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But Vegeta had been dealing with him for 20 years, so it's still understandable from his point. Like you had to deal with Nappa alone for 20 years. Like,
yeah, but it was solely his choice to kill Nappa. It's not like he was just giving him the pity gunshot to the head after he's like literally gonna die anyways. Goku is just like, yeah, you guys aren't that strong. Get wrecked. And Nappa's like, oh man, I'm sorry, Vegeta. And Vegeta's like, you know what? You're worthless. Die. Rip
like I
Nappa.
said, the summary of this podcast is that Vegeta is the GOAT. And
No!
I agree. It's 2 against 1.
2 against 1, majority.
Like-
We've both watched Kenichi, so our opinions are more valid.
Vegeta's
that's like
cool.
4 against
He's
1.
Dragon Ball Super Vegeta is the GOAT. Vegeta's cool otherwise. He has his redeeming qualities, but he's a straight asshole, made some bad decisions. That's why I don't like him. Boom.
He's a
I
straight
agree he's an
asshole. He's
asshole,
made some bad
but, like-
decisions, and that's why I like him. Boom.
And I'll see you guys all next time, dudes. Shinpaku.
Shinpaku.
Shinpaku. Bang.
That was a great way to end it.